to know what to say at half time when you finish the first half like that.
Well, it's fairly simple. We needed to be better in the second half. I thought that we started the game slowly right from the kick-off. And we're very positive from the first kick of the game, but we played backwards, and it just from there we made a couple of loose passes, and for the next 10 minutes we were on the back foot. I thought we grew into the game then and started to connect the game better on the field, and then should have went in front. You know, we had two great chances to take the lead, and if you can get 1-0 in front, especially playing them well, then you can hopefully dominate the space then as well as the ball. But we didn't manage to do that then with the crazy period just before half time, which if you look at our last 6-7 games away from home, we've defended very, very well, kept clean sheets, but we defended very poorly in that period, and before you know it, you're 3-0 down. Second half, you're playing for pride. The players done that. I think professional people will tell you, players, managers, coaches, in that situation it's easier to play because you're down in the game, but in saying that, the players show wonderful character to keep going, and we're much better second half.
The last 10 minutes of that first half showed just how much you missed Martin Skirtle today.
Well, Martin's been a key player for us. He's been outstanding, he's been ever present in the last couple of seasons for us. So, but we still as a team can defend a bit better. As I said, it was too easy once the young winger or the young fullback made it into the box. We've got to defend much better.
Brendan, Raheem was very busy today. He had his chances. He won the penalty. Do you feel what had happened in the run-up had it affected him at all, or do you think you got the performance?
Yeah, no change. Yeah, there was no change in him. I thought he was excellent today. Our best player. Aggressive in his running, pressed the ball well. Like you say, won the penalty, and it was very direct and strong. So I thought he was excellent today.
How do you get a 20-year-old dude turning down £100,000 a week contract? Does it make you frustrated?
I think in the modern game, it's obviously something that would probably frustrate us all. But it's the market. It's where football is at. But I think, in fairness to Raheem, and I brought Raheem in from the youth team in the reserves, and so I know the kid well, and I know that a big part of this is actually nothing to do with him. This is a kid that's really focused on his football, that is no change. He works hard every single day, and you see the likes of today. He just wants to play his football.
Would you like a bit more loyalty? You brought him in.
No, it's not about that. The kid for me he gives me everything every time he trains and plays. Listen, the modern game, you don't get so much of that. We hear loyalty bandied about quite a lot, but it's not something that, not something that's so prevalent in the game nowadays. But
you're being destabilised by other forces.
Like
Well,
we
all know.
Well, say it then. Wait for me to say it.
Yeah, well, are you being destabilised by other forces like agents? I'll ask you.
Listen, I think it's, in my time in coaching, there's a lot of very, very good agents. And I think that the only thing I will say on Raheem's situation is that anyone can see for his football development and financial, Liverpool Football Club is the best place for him. It's the best place for him. There's absolutely no question of that. He's had the opportunity to play, which is key for a young player. If you look throughout the teams and the clubs, it's the model of Liverpool. The owners have brought in a model where they want to create the world-class talents. And Raheem's been brought in at 17 years of age. I deemed him worthy enough to come in and become a regular. And over the last 2.5 years, he's proven that. He's played in a number of different positions which have improved his game tactically, become more tactically aware, technically improved, and the opportunity to play is critical for a young player like him. So 20 years of age, and just turned 20 in December. There's still a long way for him to go. And as I said, he's got a lot of potential, but I believe that potential he can really develop over these next coming years at Liverpool. But of course, it'll be the job of, in particular, his advisors to to look at maybe what possibilities might be beyond that. But the only thing I will say is he's got 2.5 years left. He won't be going anywhere in the summer, that's for sure. And like as I said, they'll sit down again with the club and his representatives to hopefully find the solution in the summer.
Brendan, have you talked to him one-on-one since the interview?
Yeah. I've had a good chat with him, and I gave him my opinion on it. As I said, that this is a young kid that's been advised to do something else. That's the you're not a 20-year-old boy, and then you pick up the phone and you ask to speak to the BBC. You don't do that, and him in particular. He just wants to play his football, but of course, if he's asked to do that by other parties, then that's what he'll do. But I think for now, the focus will be very much on his football and continuing with the development that has taken place for him at Liverpool.
Do you think it was left to him alone? He'd want to stay?
I think he enjoys being at Liverpool. He loves playing for Liverpool. He knows he's privileged to play in front of Liverpool supporters, and I think that as a kid, he knows that the opportunity is there for him to improve as a footballer. What that'll be in 5, 6, 7 years' time, it's different. But at this moment of his career and his life, he really enjoys it, and he said that himself. You look back on some of the interviews and things that he's done over the last few months. He's talked very openly about loving his football. The enjoyment of working at the club and playing for a great club like Liverpool.
But on a practical level, purely practical level, what Liverpool, I suppose, have got to do is qualify for competition like the Champions League. He's not going to have Champions League football next season, barring anything dramatic happening at the end of this season. So when other clubs are in a position where they can offer him Champions League football, how hard is it then to keep hold of players like Sterling?
Well, it is, because they're top talents, but they're also under contract as well, Andy. And I think it's one where, I think as long as the player can see the ambition in the club. Listen, we all know the reality of where the game is at in this country. There'll be bigger spenders than ourselves in terms of, and more experienced squads. The model at Liverpool is different, and of course players will want to look at possibilities when that time comes. But I think when you talk specifically about Raheem and where he's at and the opportunities to play and still develop, because as I said, he's got huge potential, but there's still a bit to go. Then I think that Liverpool is the best place for him.
Brendan, as Andy said, realistically after today, it's going to be difficult to qualify for this.
Yeah, absolutely.
What do you, when you look at the season as a whole, and I suppose you put it in a context where it begins with losing Suarez and adapting to that, what are the positives that have come out of this season for you?
I think at this moment in time, as I said, the summer was very difficult, with losing Louis and Daniel being injured from the beginning of the season, then a whole integration of new players. It was like starting again. It was like my first 6 months coming in. I think the reaction to the period after the Crystal Palace game has been really positive, because as I said, up until that point, in terms of performance level, we were nowhere near what we'd set for about 18 months. So the reaction and the commitment of the players has been first class since that. And really up until the Manchester United game, we were the form team and playing very, very well. But we've been dealt two big blows in these last two games. We haven't performed as we would have liked, and obviously ultimately that has cost us in terms of the result. So it leaves us, as I said, we won't, I very much doubt, be in the top four now. Come the end of the season, there's too much ground to make up. That's the realistic view from me. And now we must really focus on the FA Cup now, and that's going to be very, very important for us. But overall, there's been a lot of learning that's taken place this year, both in terms of myself and all the competitions that we've been in so far, and young players have improved and got better as the season goes on, and as I said, hopefully now we can finish the season as strong as we possibly can and take all of this, and now we need to, going into next year, but we'd have to make a real bright start in the opening 8 games.
Mario injured.
He trained yesterday afternoon with the team, and he took a slight knock to his knee, and he deemed it not able to travel with the team.
Brendan? Sorry, Brendan, you say he deemed it
Yeah.
to travel, not you deemed it.
No, I'm not a medic.
No. You
No.
said he deemed it.
Yeah, he felt it was too sore to travel.
Brendan, Bruno Constant for Liquid TV, French TV. What do you think about Mamadou Sakho since he arrived at Liverpool? He struggled at times, he doesn't look always comfortable with the ball. Is it a problem for your style of play?
It was a different game in this country. I think in some of the other European leagues there's a lot more time on the ball. This is a league where you put under greater pressure. Your touch, your technical abilities question a lot more because of the pressure that you're under in this country. So, but I think he's adapted well. At times he looks a little bit awkward, Mamo, but he's a winner and he's a fighter, and you know that however he's playing, he will always keep going to the very end. I mean, he's 23 years of age, and for centre half, which is very young, but he's got a great trait, which is he's mentally tough, and he keeps wanting to improve and get better.
Very nice, thank you. Just quickly, what have the medical staff said about Mario's knee? Have they examined it?
Yeah, they've looked at it, and it was just something that he himself didn't feel comfortable enough to travel.
Cheers, guys.